Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish up this week's theme, Wall of Sound, checking out a band called M83, period. The song is My Tears Are Becoming a Sea. Man. And it's short. It's 2.5 minutes, so let's see what they're going to do. Let's dive into this.
I'm slowly drifting to you.
Interesting use of dissonance.
Stars and planets are calling me. A billion years away from you. I'm on my way. I'm on. I'm on.
Dang, there are so many layers of emotion in here. Yeah. Wow. Short to the point, but man, I gotta look the lyrics up to this real quick. I forgot to do that prior to this. What was the song? Oh, My Tears. My tears are becoming a sea. So, musically, of course, I'd say that the structure of the song is rather clear. It is a song that exists in two spectrums. We have the first half, we have the second half. There's a very clear moment in the middle of the track where this divide occurs. And we shift from extremely sparse with a vocal melody on top of a bunch of atmospheric ideas to an atmospheric textural wall of sound that explores chord progressions with deep multi-layered emotional progressions in it. And it is a stark, palpable shift between the two sections of this track. And I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Lyrically, of course, the first half is rather sparse, only existing for a minute with a bunch of held out notes in the vocal melody. The lyrics themselves speak of slowly getting to somebody, but getting to them. Says, I'm slowly drifting to you. The stars and the planets are calling me. 1 billion years away from you. I'm on my way. So it speaks of a vast divide between two people and the beginning of a journey to reunite them. And I'm not too sure that that colors my experience with the musical aspect of the song too much. There's definitely some of that adventurous element. Like I said, it's the beginning of a quest, the beginning of a journey to find this other person. And you can certainly hear some of that in the latter half. But interestingly, the part of the song that these lyrics reside within are devoid of that. It is sparse. It sort of just exists. It contrasts heavily with that forward momentum and direction and chord progression exploration that we see in the second half. It is kind of stagnant. It sort of just exists, and it seems, well, actually, now that I know the lyrics, I'm kind of like revisiting this. So the beginning seems sparse, like I mentioned, and there's a huge echo on the vocals. Now, as I usually say, I don't know if that's just the vocal production style that the band or group or artist uses all the time, but right here, in this vacuum of understanding this singular song, I think it works well because the beginning point puts me in a place of solitude. You can almost think of it as an endless, expansive blankness, just white in all directions. No landscape, no landmarks, no sky, no ground, just white everywhere. And with nothing. Uh, no, no. Anyways, the sparseness of the music puts me in that idea, and this person just, screaming into the void with this huge reverb, this huge echo on it, saying, I'm on my way, I'm coming for you, I'm starting this journey regardless of how difficult it is. And I think it's interesting that kind of takes me to this idea of solitary, the solitude. It could almost be this concept of somebody who is not necessarily someone who's motivated and kind of wallows in depression or guilt or melancholy or lethargy, anything that would stop them from obtaining things, of going through with their goals in life. And that midpoint is the breakaway out of this room, out of this emotion, out of this solitary confinement into the beginning of this journey, into this transformative aspect that will, allow them to complete their task while also transforming them as a person. I'm kind of remembering, like, at that moment between when we get that first big wall of sound moment, I kind of remember a sample of glass shattering. I don't know if that actually happened. Like, it sounds out of place compared to the timbres I remember being there, but my brain's put it there for some reason. It feels so right. But I don't know if that's just because of this visualization I'm getting of breaking through. Metaphorically, of course, but then this physical, auditory concept of breaking through a barrier. And since some barriers that I can think of don't make sounds, like a ribbon at a finish line, like that's a barrier you can break. That doesn't make sound. Glass, though, glass is a very clear sound. And I think it also kind of speaks towards the ease of just finding, taking that first step. Or maybe the difficulty of it. I don't know. That glass might not even be there in the song, though, so I don't know why I'm fixating on it. However, we move from that into the second section of the song, and it is a gut punch. First of all, we just get that wall of sound, the very physical, I said it was palpable, I think was the word I used, display of audio. Just right in your face. You're hit with this very large sound filling up the sound sphere. It is a dense, textural atmosphere. There is a fuzziness to it, a bite, a sharpness, a huge contrast from some of the tones, the roundness of the tones that we saw in the previous section. And it's accompanied by these chord progressions that seem to just ooze with emotion. Not any one emotion in particular, just a lot of them. I mentioned that there is this adventurous element to it. Definitely a bit of positivity, some victory, I would say. But there's also tinges of longing. There is a sadness to it. There is. I think sadness isn't the right word. I think it's definitely something adjacent to sad. It's not melancholy. It's not like a super sadness, but super sadness. But I don't think sadness quite encompasses the emotion. It is, like I mentioned, it's a very complex set of emotions, and I don't know if I have the words to properly describe what I felt with those chord progressions in that last 40 seconds, but yeah, it is this mix of positive and negative emotions. And it's done so in a way that sort of is pushed down into the mix a little bit. The chords are not extremely present, especially, well, counter to the fact that they're the only moving part. Everything else is sort of atmospheric, holding out these really long notes. This is the moving aspect. Traditionally speaking, this would be given the most spotlight, and it's not. It's kind of tucked away, and I'm not sure why. I think it works well sonically. I think if we had pushed it up, it would have been, what's that thing? Distracting. It, it would have been heavily distracting to have pushed it up. I think it sits where it sits very well, but it kind of grinds a little bit against theory as far as pushing the eye towards the moving, or pushing the ear towards the moving concept, and instead it allows the ear to wander around this atmosphere, and I think it's a fantastic decision to do. So yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add to this. I believe this is part of a concept album of sorts. It says it's the opener to a double album. It's the second part of a double album, which is just kind of bonkers that the you pop an album in and you're hit with this. It does explain its short runtime though. A lot of intros tend to be a bit on the shorter side, and this is not just an intro, but more of a transitory track to pull you from one album to the next. So it sort of makes sense in that part, doubly so, to be a bit on the shorter side. But I am curious how all this comes together, and I might have to be looking into this, especially if they can pull so much power and emotion out of 2 minutes. What can they do with 2 albums? Anyways, I know this is a bit of a short analysis, but let me know what's up on your minds. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not, if you have any context to this. I know I'm missing a lot of context here, given it's a concept album. But yeah, let me know. Any sort of comments you want to leave down there, hit me up. And I guess give me some context on M83. Is this a single person electronic project, or is this a group thing? I couldn't really grasp anything from this song specifically. Is this what they typically do? Are they an electronic kind of band or artist or sound? Or is this an intro track to music that is wildly different? We see that a lot in rock, where we'll have an intro that's strings, and then the strings don't pop up anywhere else in the album. So intro songs are kind of difficult to judge an entire work by, just because they have a chance of just being wildly different. When you're done commenting, head up to the description box. In there is a link for Linktree. Take you to this menu right here. You can do all sorts of stuff here, such as purchase some merch. I forgot what you can do here. Join the Discord community. Follow me on Twitter. Join Patreon. Support the channel and get to vote on future stuff. You can submit special selections. You can check out what I've been listening to. You can check out what I've been making. all sorts of stuff. It's all in there. Above the description box, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We got one more video coming out in about 15 minutes. It'll be our creator request today, which is where a band asks me to look into their music. That is always fantastic. In fact, I think two of my albums of last year, my top 10 albums of last year that came out, I found out through creator requests. So it's a fantastic resource for finding awesome new music. So be sure to check in for that. Otherwise, I'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual. I don't remember what we're doing next week. I don't know why I never remember. Vulnerable side. That's what it is. We're going to be looking at some more thoughtful, pensive, more vulnerable music. All right, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.